punk rock, street trash, Wastelands. And here are your hosts, long-time partners in slime, Adam Obscene and Mark.
Hello world, this is Wastelands. I'm Adam Obscene, and with me as always is the mighty Marco Mark.
Hey, Adam Obscene. Hey, listeners. Great to be with you tonight.
Oh, mate, have we got a doozy to talk about tonight?
Oh, mate. Do you have a trailer?
Of course I have a trailer.
Oh, let's trailer.
They're greener. The time has come for the creatures of Frogtown to rise up. They're meaner. But these mutants are no teenagers. Ribbit. Bring me the strongest Texas Rocket Rangers.
Ranger Jones to base. Come in.
I gotta go look for him. I was kinda hoping you'd volunteer.
Here's your new partner, Dr. Spangle. What is our preordained mission in life? To turn the world green.
What was that?
Wait here, I'm gonna go check it out.
Spangle! Captured by the Hellraisers of Frogtown, bent on the destruction of humanity. Welcome to Frogtown, Sam.
I took evolution.
Welcome to Frogtown, Sam Hell.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The 1992, maybe one, depending where you look at it, Return to Frogtown, the much-anticipated disastrous sequel to Hell Comes to Frogtown, our favourite, which we've already spoken about on this show. Oh,
we have. Okay, Adam, I have a question. I think I asked this question on behalf
of the world,
of the audience. Why? Why was this movie made? This movie did not need to be made.
Mate, it's
wow.
Why is there'll be a Y count, listeners. Just a heads up, there'll be a Y count when we go through this film because it holds a very interesting place in the filmic world. And let's just kick off. Let's not dwell.
Let's go for it.
Let's
talk.
So basically, this is like I said, much anticipated sequel to Hell Comes to Frogtown. Mutant-Frog leader of Frogtown called Tsar Frogmeister kidnaps a Texas Rocket Ranger and a mad professor to make a serum that will turn everyone into frogs. And basically Sam Hell is the only one that can save the day. That is really it in a nutshell. That little synopsis makes more sense than the actual movie.
Yeah, absolutely, Ad.
But I think it could have just stuck to that line. But the first thing you have to get over on this, Marco, and this is the first thing, this had been a much fabled film, but we'd not seen. We'd sort of, when we spoke about Hell Comes to Frogtown, we discovered that there was a sequel, and I took it upon myself to try and find it, and I found it.
Sure. Yeah. And
there's a couple of noticeable, very, very noticeable differences with this film.
Oh, mate.
The one,
They've played swapsies, haven't they?
Oh, massive swapsies. I think the only original cast member in this film is the frog suits.
Yeah.
Because Sam Hell has been replaced. So Rowdy Roddy Piper is no longer in the film. It's Robert Dazar. Now, Robert Dazar is known for his comic style chin. Like, that dude has chins for days. It's
incredible.
He like, Jen walked past while I was watching this and she goes, "Is that a prosthetic?" And I said, "No, that's just what the dude looks like."
Yeah, he fully looks like the character from American Dad.
He looks
the
like
American
the dad. If they did a live action American Dad, he would be the dad. So basically, he's been in like Maniac Cop. He was the lead bad guy in Samurai Cop, which is a great movie, which we need to talk about as well. And then I think that he is probably most known to the mainstream listener as one of the major bad dudes in the prison in Tango and Cash. That Kurt Russell and Sly Stallone cop buddy film. So he was the badass in there. So Dr. Spangle has been replaced. So Sandel Bertman, who was the classic beauty in Frogtown 1 is replaced by Denise Duff, who I guess her only claim to fame is that she replaced the main actress. Like she made a role out of replacing actresses and actors, I think. Like she showed up in the subsequent subspecies films. Like, so she turned up at that. And then you got a couple of new inclusions in there, which are notable. Like, they're enough if you haven't seen the film to go, you know what, that's worth a watch just because who's in it. So you've got Byron James. Now, Byron James is funny in this. He plays the Mad Professor, but he'll know him from he was one of the replicants in Blade Runner, and he was also cool. And he was one of the major police officers in The Fifth Element. So. There's also Charles Napier. Nice. So Charles Napier was in Rambo 2 as Murdoch. He was Captain Gilmore in Austin Powers, and he was also a sheriff in the classic Dino Croc. You've got Rhonda Shear, who plays Fuzzy, and when we say Fuzzy, it's an acronym. And so the last, have you noticed that the last 3 or 4 films we've done have had acronym bases? So we've had Rotor, we've had TC2000. So Fuzzy is an acronym for something, but it never actually gets explained. But she's effectively a head on a tube TV in 1992, and she's like the computer relay operator. Now, Rhonda Shear, she is famous in the States for hosting a late night TV show called America Up All Night, where they just basically like a late night movie show hostess. So she's done some cool shit like that. But probably the most standout for me was Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk, and playing effectively a dude who gets kidnapped, injected with serum, and turns green.
Yeah.
It's like...
It just keeps repeating his Texas Rocket Ranger name and serial number over and over. I'm not going to crack. I'm not going to crack.
While he turns into a mildly angry Hulk.
Yeah, for sure. They paint Lou Ferrigno green
Who
and
else
make him angry.
Who else are they going to get? But
man, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't do that. Have you seen
Pumping Iron?
Pumping Iron.
Yeah, so he's in
Lou Ferrigno.
They're in that together in 1977, and then Lou Ferrigno went on to do the Hulk in 1977 and 1982 while Arnie hit the stratosphere.
That's right.
So by 1992, Lou Ferrigno is now playing Texas Rocket Ranger, being ejected to being turned into a frog, but instead of getting green and stronger, he gets green and weaker.
Yeah. I just want to throw in there, Adam, I love Lou Ferrigno, but when I was a young child and the Hulk was on TV, I was terrified. I wanted to watch the Hulk because I was into the Hulk comic, but the fucking TV show Lou Ferrigno, when he turned green, scared the absolute crap out of me as a young child.
I don't think you're alone on that.
No, I don't think so.
Him turning green in this film scared the crap out of me for a wholly different reason. It's because it's sort of we got about 15 minutes in and went, oh no.
No.
So look, and then the other standout in this is so this is directed by Donald G. Jackson, who directed Hell Comes to Frogtown. So he had run away with success with Hell Come to Frogtown. And if Hell Come to Frogtown is an example of a B movie done right, Return to Frogtown is the example of a B movie done fucking wrong. Because, oh my God. Like, I don't want to wail too much on it, but I'm going to wail too much on it. Like, this dude back catalogue is massive. He has a hard-on for sci-fi films and rollerbladers. We've spoken about this in the past. He's done amazing things. His whole back catalogue is worth a show in itself, which I think we need to do a deep dive into Donald G. Jackson's back catalogue. One of our listeners messaged me and basically said, like, seriously, mate, like, you've got this guy who loves rollerblading, sci-fi action. It's a rabbit hole of oddities, and it's true. Like, there's Rollergator, like, is like the rollerblade sci-fi film that's about cops from the future. Oh, sorry, nuns from the future that like rollerblade and solve crimes. Like it's crazy. Like so. Anyway.
Future nun.
Yeah.
Tech nun.
But yeah, so that's that. You know, really, there's a lot. So he got into this film. Apparently, the story goes that he felt that there was too much interference in Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Oh yeah, you've got to keep that. You've got to keep that purity, Adam.
So he went and did Frogtown 2 without any film company interference. And
Gee, do you reckon?
It's like, this is less of a sequel. Is more as almost like it's almost like a remake in the sense that but it's weird because you get this sense that there's connections back to the original film, but then there are some U-turns which are so totally off track that there's like, well, let's just talk about some of the things that don't make sense. Which is the whole thing. The one thing that got me straight away is that Sam Hell all of a sudden is a law-abiding Texas Rocket Ranger.
Yeah, instead of a Snake Plissken style renegade outlaw that's been sort of hauled in to do the man's dirty work.
So you're missing the escape from LA vibe, or escape from New York vibe. The Sam Hell character as being a wisecracking, anti-hero, and you get Robert Dazar who tries to pull some of the wisecracking jokes, but they just fall flat and sexist and weird.
And then which is more the direction in the script rather than the actor himself.
Yeah, because again,
he and the lead female actor, and I'm so sorry I'm blanking on her name.
Playing Dr. Spangle.
Yes, they look, they're not great in this, but again, I think they're good actors. Especially she held the film up yet again, man. I'm sticking by it.
There is actually a theme, isn't there, in that the supporting actors in these, particularly the female leads, hold these films up.
They really do. They really do, and to the point now where it becomes for me really obvious. Like as soon as they're 10, 15 minutes into their part, it's like, yeah, this person is really holding this whole thing up, and it's really the script and the director that's not holding it up, letting it down.
Yeah, look, and so those guys, and so this is this is a relationship of Sam Hell and Dr. Spangle, but it's strained and new. So at the end of Hell Comes to Frogtown, they'd sort of built this camaraderie up. There was a sexual tension. They were sort of going on to repopulate the world. In this, Sam is like, they're both all, so Sam Hell was the renegade and Dr. Spangle was a geneticist. In this, they're now just both rocket rangers and apparently don't know each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they're from the same, I don't know, like
division.
What do they call it? Division. Thank you, Ad. Yeah, blanking on my Texas Rocket Ranger terminology.
But they don't know each other. Like they're so like, she'll hold me back. And then
I know.
And then they go into Frogtown, and Frogtown, instead of being awesomely Mad Max-esque compound, is a Wild West town.
Yeah,
and they go into Frogtown, and it's kind of like Sam Hell has never been to Frogtown before.
Yeah.
And
this is his first rodeo.
But then they come into, so the arch nemesis from the first film, Toady, rocks back up, even though he got killed in the first film, like for getting chucked off the cliff. He comes back, and even Sam Hell says in this, like Robert Dazar says, last time I saw him, he was dead at the bottom of a rock. Well, I don't know how you can be dead at the bottom of a rock, but anyway, he comes back and he's sort of got like a robotic head. Toady totally remembers and recognizes Sam Hell, and Sam Hell totally blanks him. Like, just goes, I don't know who you are, dude. Like, it's like, well, who had the brain damage here? The Mutant-Frog or the Sam Hell? Yeah.
Sam Hell had a few late nights, I think.
And so, but then Commander Toady isn't the actual main nemesis in this. It's the Tsar Frogmaster, who has the evil plan, which is a pretty shit plan, which is to get a serum and actually turn the world into frogs.
Sure.
And so that's where he kidnaps Byron James, the professor, and Byron James is like then experimenting on the Hulk. And so that's where we get to. They go in to try and save him. They get caught. They get away. They get caught. They get away. It sort of runs in that cycle for about 35 minutes, and then we're back at this, fight. The final fight scene. That's kind of I just run through the plot rather than as observations. But there are so many obscurities and oddities that just don't make sense in it. But throughout that, there's lots of references to the first one. So it can't be a remake because there's enough of referring to the previous film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I look for the hilarious shit in it ads because I found myself fighting the constant urge to just want to turn it off and go fuck this. But like that was my main thought. Yeah. When can I turn this off?
How much more can I watch to make it sound like that I actually have watched enough to talk about?
Like I scrub-a-dubbed through, scenes of long dialogue, shit like that. But one of the most laugh out loud things is when they put on the rocket suits. So they've got jetpack suits, listeners, and they take off like Superman, I guess.
Audi brand rocket.
They really are. When they take off, it's so obvious that it's they just jump. They go to launch and it's like Bob Dazar running along and then jumping probably onto like a mattress that's in front of him. Cuts to like a long distance person in space flying up in the air, and then they show a close up of him, one arm out. Think of the classic Superman pose, like a khaki Power Ranger with cowboy tassels on everything, but he's flying through the air. And the tassels aren't moving. There is no sense of speed at all. Yeah, he's just sideways.
And the helmet,
it's funny.
And then the weird helmet is like the Rocketeer helmet, but it's back to front, so it looks like a weird pterodactyl beak. Or that's not aerodynamic at all.
No, like they've designed it with it backwards. Absolutely, it's so funny when it's just obviously him.
Yeah, and they've just angled
with
the
his
camera.
body on a box.
And they've framed it really close to make it like he's obviously standing on a ledge or something. So there's sky behind him, but nothing is moving. He's like, I'm flying. Yeah, that's 90 minutes of this shit, listeners. Wow, it's funny.
I know, and now we're subjecting you to a podcast about it.
And you're going to have to watch it just because of a couple of things. Let's just take a quick break and play this thing that actually saved the movie for me. So listen to this.
Meaner and greener, say it. Say it meaner, say it greener. Frogtown is the place for sinners. Woo!
Someone named Sarah Frog might.
So there's a nightclub scene where Sam goes into the nightclub and there's like this band on stage singing this song, and they've got all these sexy frog girls, like they're meant to be frog women. So all the frog women in Frogtown now are full, sexy, non-mutant, airbrush body painted women that are all grinding all over these frogs.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like they got hired from a Motley Crue film clip
and just now they're green airbrushing or something.
Is it like Ugly Frog Joe or something? It's like that era of music. It's
Ugly Frog Joe. It's like they've come straight off Sunstrip Swamp.
Far out, man. These guys are not related to Kermit the Frog at all, man.
No.
Like these dudes are never going to see over the rainbow. Like
they live it in a Wild West town, and they're in this dirty saloon playing dirty glam rock. The funny thing about it is in the lyrics of that song, they refer to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's a couple of other references to Teenage. Like on the back of the VHS, which I dug out, it says, not that I own it, I found a photo of it. It says, Flying Rocket Rangers battle the King of the Mutants to save mankind from genetic mutation. This sci-fi fantasy in the tradition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a sequel to the cult classic Hell Comes to Frogtown. It's not.
It's not
in the vein of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they continue to try and reference that in it.
Yeah. Like that, it's just like Munchies all over again.
Yeah.
Munchies, Gremlins,
Yeah,
Frogtown, Ninja Turtles. Like that's what they're going for.
You know what's funny
to try and get that VHS rental money.
It's like, not that the thing is not that Hell Comes to Frogtown would have been enough to actually back on that, but now they're trying to connect other reptilian, amphibian-based connections. But the other thing too is that here's a factoid which I thought was really interesting that. Donald G. Jackson later worked with Kevin Eastman, the co-creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1998 in the movie Lingerie Kickboxer.
Say that again, Adam. So what's the name of the movie again?
Lingerie Kickboxer. You don't even need to see that film just to say that name of that movie.
Those two words should never be put together.
Imagine the high kicks in that. Geez, you'd hope that there's not crotchless. Anyway, that went.
It'd be like a step one Muay Thai. No one wants to see that.
So that's the Ninja Turtle connection. Like that, I really did actually like. I did like that musical interlude, though. I felt that it was just at the right time when things were boring enough that I was probably about to scrub. And Lawson's, I don't scrub, but when that sort of musical interlude came in, I went, gotta give a little bit of Frogly Crew in here.
Yeah.
So.
Frogly Crew. Nice.
Thank you.
Adam, you're like the B-grade VHS film watcher equivalent of like the monks who whack themselves, like flagellate themselves with the
VHS.
With the switches. Like that's you, man. You're like, I don't scrub, and I'm like,
we'll do a. I think we might do a novelty knockoff video of that when you come up for our 100th episode.
It'd be great to like actually capture on film how the difference between how you and I watch movies. Like you're like, selecting a fine wine out of your collection, and I'm like YouTube scrub through righto.
Which is why I would put to you, sir, that this podcast works.
I know. It does work. It does work. And I promised I watched like 30 seconds of this. I really did.
That's all you needed to. This was PG-13 apparently. Okay. And it does feel like that it was somewhere between. It was kind of like trying to. It felt like it was trying to make a kids movie. I think that's why the references to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that stuff comes through.
Yeah.
It's just kind of wrong. I guess it's this time.
Body count.
So Lost Body. We had 25 kills in this, and they all really happened in the last 15 minutes. When they sort of the siege of Frogtown happens in the Wild West, it's Wild West style, sort of guns at noon. So the runtime was 90 minutes. So the kills per minute was like 0.2 kills a minute, or one kill every 3.6 minutes.
Nice.
So there you go.
Body count.
That was smoother than normal.
Nice.
I don't know.
I mean, this movie would make most children cry now. I think.
Like it's kind of horrific. It's kind of like the mutants are pretty scary. I don't like if you're a kid, 10-year-old, like if I guess if we're 10-year-olds that got scared by the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what 10-year-olds back in 19 would have been saying. I thought this was Ninja Turtles.
Saturday afternoon's ruined when your mum gets home with munchies and this movie, Frogtown 2. It's like, fuck!
What the hell?
So I said Gremlins and Ninja Turtles, Mum. But the guy's video store said that this was just as good.
Munchies and Frogtown. So I think we've mentioned this before. There's two follow-ups to this. There's the Toad Warrior, which Sam Hell is replaced by Max Hell, and then there's Max Hell Frog Warrior. I don't think we're going to visit those. I never know. We may visit those. We might touch on them with Donald G. Jackson's overview. But there's one final note that I want to say is that not only does Donald G. Jackson love rollerblading and weird sci-fi shit, he loves puppets. He loves puppets. And, we spoke about Rollergator, which is a roller skating puppet, a rollerblading alligator. This one has its own little puppet called Frogmeister Jr., which is a throwback genetic mini experiment. It's just a rubber hand puppet. And it's got the most annoying voice, and you would have heard in the trailer before, and it makes no sense, and it is almost to reinforce the point that it was kind of, I guess they were trying to make it for kids, putting a hand puppet in there, like a jive talking hand puppet, but it was weird, man, and it didn't really even look like a frog. It looked, I don't know what it fucking looked like.
Jive turkey hand puppet.
It was jive. It was turkey skin.
Oh, mate. Look, I reckon, honestly, these last few weeks with these movies, we analyze them on this podcast like to the end. Like you and I analyze these movies until there's nothing else to analyze. And I think especially you can deep dive into movies where the shallow end is pretty shallow. You know what I mean?
It's like, how deep can you actually go? It's just
not that deep.
It's not,
but
really
you get
that
it.
Deep.
No, we ring it. We're like wringing out the dirty dishwater, man. Like,
it's like, come on, can we get 27 minutes out of this movie?
Come on!
So
that's why we need sponsorship. So, reach out to us with generous offers to financially compensate us. We'll spin out this with a little bit of advertising.
So, like we say to your listeners, we watch these movies so you don't have to.
Oh, absolutely. The great thing is this one's on YouTube too. So if you really do want to watch it, it's there. You can find it in all its VHS rip glory.
Yeah, it's a pretty,
Adam, are we on another streaming platform now?
Another streaming platform? Well,
another social media platform, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah. I bit the bullet, and because we've been pretty regular with the video drops on Thursday nights, I've jumped over on, and now we're hip with the kids, and we're now at Wastelands Radio Show on TicTok.
Yep. Well, you can find us over there videoing each other, yelling at kids, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. So we'll be dropping our videos on there on Thursday nights as well. And look, it's fun. Like that, we're getting already, like I think we only signed up yesterday, and we've already got like people chatting with us and giving us recommendations. So
good Lord. Yes, pick up your game, people on Instagram. Come on.
Facebook, all those mums and dads on Facebook.
We know who you are.
So, look, not much more to say on this. I guess the most resounding comment that I've got to say about this movie is that Rowdy Roddy Piper was too busy to do this movie because he returned to his wrestling career.
Busy, quotation fingers.
Yeah, busy.
Oh, mate. Look, it was great to watch. It was even greater to talk to you about it, Ads, and I hope the listeners, have a laugh listening to it as well, because holy smokes, I don't know. Check it out on YouTube, guys. At least even watch the trailer. Bob Dazar, if you don't know Bob Dazar, check him out. Get on the old IMDb, check him out.
It is he is very interesting to look at, and that's quite enjoyable. And for any other reason, let's finish this on a positive note for the film, is that it has a pretty great B-list role of actors in it. And I think that's pretty fun. But yeah, look, it's rough going, but it's worth it if you persevere enough of it to put it in the context of never watch these types of movies alone.
Oh, yeah. Actually, if you do watch it, listeners, like we always say, hit us up on social media and tell us what you think. Like, let's have a chat. Let's all have a group therapy session after this movie.
Absolutely, group therapy session. So, listeners and listeners, we are on all the socials. Just look for at Wastelands Radio Show, or on Twitter, WastelandsRS. You can get us on all the platforms. Just search Wastelands Radio Show, or go direct to the source at wastelands.com.au for hints, tips, direct downloads, and all that other stuff. And yeah, TikTok. Get on it, kids. We're hip to the groove. That was
Get off our lawn.
There's like, yeah, you kids.
You kids, get off my
sucking
lawn.
cider through a straw. I don't know what that means. Feel a little bit invigorated after that. With next episode, I think we're touching on another knockoff. And that might be the last of the knockoffs for a while.
Mate,
Probably not.
because we die.
Yeah. But
No,
listeners-
joking. That was sarcastic. Sorry, no. These are fun.
Listeners, we're also going to be doing some deep dives on some albums that we love. So,
yes.
yeah, some micro episodes. So if you can't stick with us, like if you've made it this far in, thank you very much. You are dedicated and we love you for it. But we are going to be producing some smaller snapshot albums, formative albums and albums that Marco and I love, and doing a little bit of a dive on them. But right now, my good man, is there anything more you'd like to add?
It is good night from me.
And it is good night from him.
Before you say another word,
It's over! It's finished!
Like this.